It is an ordinary day in Japan. This boy named Kuro has a bad headache, since he had gotten up early the day before. Practicing at his field hockey club, he runs into a girl named Shirohashi, who notices his discomfort, getting a little curious. He notices, so he asks her what's wrong. She gets super nervous and tells him that today he must not miss the literature club activities. Already in the literature club, there is a little tense atmosphere. Kuro notices that when looking into Shirohashi's eyes, she avoids his gaze. He wonders if she hates him, but well, that's not really weird, since her face scares everyone. Shirohashi apologizes, admits that there are no club activities. Explaining that she really needed to talk to him, she blushes and plucks up her courage, confessing to him that she's always liked. He tries to process what he just heard, but out of nowhere, he sees the figure of an old man. And his head starts to hurt too much. He hears a voice telling him he suffers and dies. As he passes out, he sees Shirohashi worriedly trying to help him. Suddenly, wakes up in a bright place with strange people. He is glad to still be alive, but wonders if he is in a hospital or something. He sees that he is naked and surrounded by hooded people. Frightened, he wonders what is going on. And who are these guys speaking in such a weird language? They are going to put some kind of crown on him, but when he tries to move, he realizes that his body does not respond, and he cannot speak either. When they are about to put it on, he starts screaming in his mind for them to stop, thinking that he is going to die if they put it on his head. As they put it in, he feels immense pain, causing him to pass out again. He wakes up disoriented and wonders what is going on. He sees an old man with a mask, one hood, accompanied by other hooded people, so he wonders if that old man is the leader of the masked ones. The old man tells him die and begins to feel excruciating pain, causing the whole place to hear his screams. He falls to the ground and struggles to get up, but is picked up. The old man orders him to get up and obey. Apparently the crown he is wearing is mind control. They take him to another place to continue torturing him. It is so brutal that his face is disfigured. For that reason, he thinks it must be just a bad dream. If it were real, he would certainly be dead. For that reason, he begins to tell himself that he must wake up now to return to the real world. Again imprisoned, says he wants to go home. But again, some guys come in. One of them calls him 49 number and orders him to get up and follow them. They take him to a place with a lot of light, so he wonders if they will torture him again. As he enters, he sees a soldier in armor. Doubts whether he is a dummy or a robot. The guys say they will test the progress of experiment number 49 and order him to use black magic to destroy all the enemies. Hearing that, Kuro says it doesn't make sense. They tortured him by performing horrible experiments on him, and now they want him to use magic? There is no way he can use it, but the experiment begins. Suddenly, he receives a blow from the doll. He tries to block it with his arms, but the blow is so powerful that it throws him against the wall. When he recovers, he realizes that he was not hurt at all. So he wonders if this attack is part of a show, or if he just has a lot of stamina. The dummy goes to attack him again, but this time Kuro counterattacks by hitting him in the head, causing him to fall backwards. The dummy gets up as if nothing. Kuro realizes that he will not fall so easily. They begin to exchange blows, and he thinks that he will need more power to destroy it completely. So with all his strength, he gives it a blow imbued with a rare power, managing to break it in two. As he processes his victory, he angrily shouts to those holding him hostage that what did they think of that? He wonders if what he just used was the black magic they had mentioned. As he ponders that, hears noises and sees many bars opening there. He remembers the words, uses black magic to destroy all opponents, but he had only defeated one. Still, he can't believe what he sees. There are a lot of dummies approaching at once to kill him, so he gets scared a lot. He had no choice but to fight. It was kill or be killed, and even though he thought dying was better, anyway, he was forcibly revived. He comes to the conclusion that although the situation is horrible, can survive if he doesn't give up, so he starts practicing his magic by throwing projectiles, determined to become stronger. He remembers that when he was fighting the doll, his fist generated a dark aura out of nowhere. That's certainly magic. They start putting him to fight all kinds of monsters, and in every fight he learns something. He says that magic isn't very effective as a shield, but it does serve to defeat monsters in one blow. The guys who are holding him hostage didn't tell him anything about magic. Everything he knows he has learned on his own. Thanks to the fact that they have experimented on him, his body has been rebuilt and is no longer weak. His strength, stamina, vision, hearing, and natural regeneration. Y has improved in every possible way, so much so that he is no longer considered human. The healer who attended literature classes no longer exists, and is even beginning to forget Shirohashi's face. He keeps facing stronger and stronger monsters. He says that before he completely turns into a killing machine, he must return to his world as a normal person. Again imprisoned, the guys send him out and follow them. but his face is no longer the same as before. As he is taken back to the battlefield, he encounters a doll, wonders why it is now only one, and if it is the same type as the ones he faced the first time. The doll throws black flames at him. He notices that it is a magic-type attack. While deflecting the flames, he sees that a projectile is about to hit him, but he manages to narrowly dodge it. Notices that he just contracted the flames to form that projectile. He tells it that he can do it too, so he throws his magic projectiles at it, but the doll creates a shield. The Prota is surprised by that and says he will approach to go through it. As he does so, they start to cross attacks. Kuro says he is too strong. No doubt it is completely different from the dolls before. The doll gets up and is about to throw more magic projectiles. Kuro dodges them and counterattacks him with a more powerful projectile, making the shield crack, takes advantage and shoots another projectile and manages to make it completely destroyed, so he does not waste the opportunity. And while the doll tries to recover, he pierces it using his magic, but blood starts to come out of its armor. Kuro is surprised and confused. He wonders how a doll can bleed. Suddenly he hears that they say that the experiment number 48 failed, so they will finish experimenting for now. Hearing that, he can't believe it. After all, he wasn't fighting a dummy. When he takes off his helmet and sees his face, he is even more shocked. Apparently, he is a Japanese just like him. He starts to get too desperate and screams, saying that he killed a person. The old hooded man sees the scene and becomes proud of the spirit shown by the Prota, calling him Dark Demon King. On the other hand, the hooded men are meeting with an important person named Ars to talk about something. He asks, "Where is the bishop there?" The hooded one replies that he was summoned to another city. Ars says it's a pity, as he wanted to meet with him today. On his way in, he orders this girl named Sariel to accompany him to the meeting. In the middle of the meeting, one of the old men mentions that the Celestial Armada project is proceeding as planned, especially experiment number 49, that is Kuro, as he has shown exceptional ability and they plan to continue experimenting to try to produce more such soldiers. In addition, they will be doing the final christening of Kuro today, so they hope to be able to show the final product within the next 6 months. Suddenly, Sariel hides under the table. Ars asks him what's going on. She tells him to cover up. He tries to find out why, though he decides to do it without much thought. The old man tries to ask her what she is doing, but before he can, it starts shaking, all because of a big earthquake. It is so strong that the walls crack and the room is a mess. After a while, the shaking stops and the old man wonders if they are safe yet. Ars says that it is very strange for an earthquake to happen and compliments Sariel for having such keen senses, but she doesn't react at all to the compliment, so Ars says she is as cool as ever and asks everyone if they are okay. She gives them the order to evacuate everyone from the building and to confirm casualties. Out of nowhere, one comes in yelling that there is a serious problem. Ars asks him what is going on, but suddenly there is another earthquake. The one who arrives says that experiment number 49 has escaped in the middle of the christening ceremony. The others are surprised, but Sariel remains curious, and that is that when the first quake ended, Kuro woke up confused in the place where they were being baptized. He explains that the day he killed that person, thinking he was a puppet, his heart died after killing many other experiments. He couldn't feel any emotion anymore. He practically became a puppet. Still, remembering all that, he feels terrible. As he tries to put it all out of his head, he sees something circular on the floor, processing it for a moment. Remembers that it's the crown that had been put on her, so she wonders if there was some accident during the baptism. But that doesn't really matter, since not having it, she'll be able to do whatever she wants. Without further thought, he breaks it and laughs, shouting that he is finally free. The people there see him and freak out a bunch. They tell each other that number 49 doesn't have the crown. He grabs him by the collar, telling him not to call people as numbers. His full name is Kuro, not Mao, and his head explodes. The remaining one slowly approaches and tries to stick him with a syringe, but before he can, Kuro hits him, grabs the syringe from the ground, and while telling him that he should actually be grateful for his care, sticks him with the syringe, and he is left writhing. On his way out, he sees one of the old men giving orders to check if everything is okay due to the earthquake. Seeing Kuro, he is too surprised, so he quickly informs the others, but Kuro is about to kill him. We return to Ars and the others. One of the hooded men asks him if it's really okay that they sent Sariel to defeat him. Yusan, since Kuro is one of their strongest experiments. Ars smiles, tells him that she is usually the only bodyguard he has. That means she alone is enough. In fact, it is impossible for an experiment to beat him. Kuro keeps killing everything he sees. After a while, without finding the exit, he says it's a really big lab, grabs some swords and wonders if it was a bad idea to kill everyone. Before asking them about the way out, he throws the swords into a magical liquid he created, and they sink. He mentions that the magic is really amazing. He can create alternate dimensions and store things like inventory. He also says that he apparently got used to killing humans by now, although this time it is justified. Suddenly he sees someone coming through a door. It's Serial. Upon getting a good look at her, notices that she has a cross emblem, so he asks her who she is. She replies that she is the seventh apostle Serial. He also introduces himself by saying her full name and asks her where the exit is. She tells him that she can't tell him, so Kuro concludes that she is definitely an enemy. But what can he do now? If he turns back, there will definitely be no way out, and he also doesn't want to kill a girl he has nothing against. That means the only option he has now is to dodge her, so he tries as fast as he can, but as he is about to succeed, she causes him to fall. Seeing what he fell with, he realizes that she created a 2009 wooden pole, so he thinks she must have a lot of magical power. She starts using a lot of magic and tells him she will stop him right there. He is surprised by the amount she is producing and thinks he shouldn't go soft against her. If he doesn't fight back, he will die. So he throws a giant magic projectile at her. She throws one at him too, and it goes through his leg. He thinks her shot managed to hit him, since after all he shouldn't be able to attack and defend at the same time, but upon closer inspection, he sees that he caught her bullet with only his hands. She, as she destroys it, says that it is an interesting idea that she managed to make the bullet spin at high speed to give it more power. Kuro can't believe it, caught her projectile with her bare hands, and even destroyed it with only one hand. He regenerates his leg and says his only option now is to escape. There is no way he can beat someone so powerful. He must focus all the strength he has left on leaving. So he throws black flames at her and starts to run, but she throws many projectiles, causing several to pierce him. Serial slowly approaches. When he enters the room, he sees that there is a well with a path of blood, looks out and says that he jumped into the undercurrent, so he really is lucky. Kuro arrives by a river to the outside, saying that he almost died. He tries to heal his wounds using muscle rebuilding magic, though he doesn't quite succeed, mentioning that his healing magic isn't very good, but at least he stopped the bleeding. He says he certainly doesn't want to fight Serial again, but other than that, is the first time he's been abroad. He doesn't seem to be in Japan. The scenery looks like something out of a movie. He notices that the city is full of crosses, so that's the territory of the weird old brains. It would be very problematic if they get to see it. The huge ship there looks like a warship, and the small boat looks like a supply ship, but he doesn't want to go near enemy boats in any way, although on second thought, should stay away from that area. So he decides to try to escape on them. The boat sets sail and they say it is heading for the continent of Pandora. Kuro, who is hiding in a box, is relieved. He says he doesn't think they are looking for him on his own warship, so there shouldn't be a problem. But being at last reassured, he falls asleep almost instantly. He was tortured, forced to kill people, and now he is heading to an unknown place. Thinking about that makes him wonder what will become of him from now on. The ship finally leaves and time passes. Suddenly he hears some disturbing sounds. Half asleep, he thinks it's his mom and tells her to let him sleep alone for 5 more minutes. At that moment, he gets a lot of water on his face and wakes up confused and cold. When he looks around, he notices that he is in the middle of a forest. The box he was in is broken, so he wonders if something happened while he was sleeping. Out of the corner of his eye, he sees something shiny and strange. As he approaches, he thinks it is a living being used, and so he speaks to it to see if it reacts. She turns and sees it's a fairy. Can't believe it. Pointy ears, bright blonde hair, and it even has wings. She, a little scared, asks him if he is okay, points to a cliff and tells him he fell from up there. He now understands the box he was in fell while she was being transported, and the fairy helped him wake up after he lost consciousness. So he tells her he's fine. He doesn't have a scratch on him. She smiles, so Kuro is shocked. She is the first person to show him kindness in that world. Kuro introduces himself and tells her that his name is Kuro no Mao. She is confused as Mao means Demon King in Japanese, but he tells her that it is not Mao but she can just call him Kuro. She also introduces herself. Her name is Lily. He is even more shocked by how cute she is. He is about to ask her where they are when suddenly someone comes shouting. Are several fairies who are angry. One of them asks why there is a human there and tells them to leave immediately. Lily is scolded, asking her why she is there. I had already told her that fake fairies are forbidden to enter that place. Kuro is blinded as they are too bright and asks her why she tells Lily that she is a fake fairy. She replies, there is no way a fairy would have such a large body. She is clearly half human and they shouldn't be there to begin with. So he sends them off again. But before they leave, he tells Lily that some goblins were spotted in the West Cave, so she must take care of them. Lily says she's fine. Kuro, without understanding anything, asks her if she is going to let her alone eliminate such dangerous beasts. She replies that it is very noisy, even she can defend herself with her magic, but he tells her that she is just a girl anyway, to which the very angry fairy yells at her to get the hell out of here. On the way to the goblin cave, Kuro tells Lily that he thought the fairies would be friendlier. She replies that it can't be helped, since that is the fairy garden, where the queen's treasure is. All fairies are born in the spring where the treasure resides and receive its protection. For that reason, that place is very important to them. Lily was expelled when she was born, but she must still protect the forest for the good of all. Kuro is moved to hear her and thinks she is very noble. There is no way he would leave her alone to her fate, and so he tells her with much emotion that he will exterminate the goblins for her. Lily replies that he shouldn't since it's too dangerous, but he tells her not to worry. He can use magic too. He should be strong enough to defeat a group of goblins, plus he'll run away if he's in too much danger. Lily is reassured to hear that and replies that he's fine then. When they arrive at the place, they hide to plan how they will defeat them. Kuro, upon seeing them, remembers that they are the same types of goblin he defeated in the experiments. He asks Lily if they all really need to be killed. She tells him yes, since if he kills one, the others will notice, so they need to be exterminated completely. He replies that it's okay, and to wait for him here. He creates magic bullets, saying he will try a technique he came up with while hiding on the ship, though it is only holding several bullets and firing them at once. The goblins see him and become alert. Kuro prepares to attack, but sees that Lily is next to him. Surprised, he asks her, "Why did you come out?" But the goblins start throwing arrows at him. He tells Lily to stay close to him. He attacks them with the projectiles, pulls out the swords he had. He mentions that if he uses magic on them, he can control them. As if it were telekinesis, he throws them at the approaching ones. Out of nowhere, a roar is heard. Is a giant goblin with a sword that seems powerful. He says that apparently a strong one came out and notices that the sword he carries contains black magic. The bug attacks one of his companions. Kuro thinks he went crazy, but Lily tells him it's the fault of that cursed sword. It's dangerous. The goblin runs to attack him, forcing him to throw the swords at it, but it breaks them in one blow. Kuro dodges his blows and backs away, firing several bullets at him. The goblin doesn't react at all, so he realizes that he can't even feel pain. So he approaches him, and with his magic shatters the arm with which he holds the sword, since if he takes it away from the owner, there is no one to curse anymore. He grabs the sword, and Lily gets nervous, saying it is dangerous to have it. He hears a scary voice say things about hating, loving, and killing. Kuro says it's just as he thought. The source of the curse is dark magic, so he uses his on her and makes the curse go away. It happened what he thought. If he uses the same black magic, he can remove it, but it's not as easy as it looks. Lily tells him that it's amazing. Kuro replies that it's only possible because his abilities work similarly to the curse, but for her not to try it just in case. Though likewise, there are still many goblins left, and it looks like their main military force just left. Lily tells him that she can help him. He asks if she is sure, to which she replies, yes. They start fighting them all at once. Kuro thinks that, compared to what he had to go through, those goblins are simple to defeat. The weapon that is full of blood, he starts to absorb it while he is distracted with the sword. He is attacked by several, but Lily summons a giant magic circle and throws it at everyone, making Kuro surprised. A goblin tries to attack him from behind, but he punches him and starts killing the remaining ones one by one. The last goblin is scared. He still tries to attack him, but he brutally rips him in half. In the middle of all the victims, he says it was a bloodbath, so he needs to change his clothes. Lily calls him. Kuro tells her he is shocked and congratulates her. Didn't know he could use that kind of magic. She thanks him, although there are still those inside the cave. Lily says no problem and creates an even bigger magic circle than before and throws it towards the cave, killing the remaining ones. Kuro is surprised. The above was just a fragment of the power he can use. He wonders if all fairies can use that level of magic, but more than amazing. That's terrifying. She talks to him and he freaks out. She tells him to go to her house. He laughs a little nervously and tells her it's okay. Once at the house, Lily makes him some tea, thanks him, and mentions that it's been a long time since he's had one. He asks her why she doesn't drink. She tells him it's because there's only one cup. He asks her the reason for that, to which she replies that it's because no one goes to her house. He is her first guest, and she is very happy that he is there. He tells her that he is her number one friend then. She doesn't know he's a friend, so he jokingly explains to her that it's the kind of relationship two people have when they take cover when fighting a bunch of goblins. She smiles and hugs him very happily, saying that he is her friend. That was the first time she met someone trustworthy in a world full of demons. The next day, Kuro sees a chest next to Lily's house and asks her what's inside. She answers him that she doesn't know. That chest was owned by a wizard who lived there a long time ago. She asks him if he will open it. He says yes, as he is very curious. When he tries to open it, a trap is triggered that almost cuts off his finger. For that reason, the only option he has is to use magic. He makes it flow through the lock and manages to open it. Inside, there is only a knife, a wand, one wizard's cloak. Lily prompts him to try on the cloak. He hangs up his clothes and tries it on. He asks Lily how it fits. She tells him it looks great. He looks like a real wizard. Kuro thinks it is of very good quality. The fabric is thick but light and even has faint traces of magic. With that on, even he can become a wizard. Lily continues to praise him. Yusen Kuro tells her that he feels a bit stronger now, so he proposes to go to some Pandey village. Once upon arrival, there is a huge lizard man guarding the entrance. He tells Lily that this is the first time he is bringing a guest. Kuro introduces himself by saying his name and that he is a black magic user. He replies that she must be a good person. Fairies aren't friendly to just anyone, so she lets them in without a problem. Kuro asks her if she often goes to that village. She tells him yes. That's Ear's village. He mentions that when he first saw some goblins there, he thought they were enemies, but it didn't turn out to be so. That world is really different. The races don't matter no matter how different they are from each other. Everyone knows Lily in the village and they call her Miss, so Kuro says she is quite famous, but wonders why they use honorifics with her. They arrive at the mayor's office where there is a little old lady who is obviously the mayoress. She tells Kuro that it must be hard for him not to have a home of his own. In the village they accept humans, so he can stay without any problem. Kuro thanks her a lot, but she tells him not to worry since he is Lily's friend. She asks him if he will live there then. He says yes, he can't stay in her house forever. Lily's eyes water when she hears that, and almost crying, she tells him that she really doesn't mind him staying at her house. Besides, she would be very lonely without him. Kuro tells her that she shouldn't bother her and make her more uncomfortable, Yusen, but the little old lady mentions that fairies never say anything that they don't really mean if Lily is so insistent on him. True, if Lily is so insistent about it, then it is better to please her. Kuro wonders if it is really so, and seeing her face, he sees her very worried, so he asks her if she is sure. He is very big and takes up a lot of space. She replies that there is no problem. She wants to be with him always. Kuro is touched and hugs her, telling her that it's okay then, he wants to stay with her too. While they are hugging, the old lady asks him if he has a job. He replies that he doesn't yet, so she tells him that in that case he can go to the Adventurers Guild to earn some money. When they arrive, he asks Lily if she has already gone there, to which she says yes. Kuro mentions that according to the mayor, anyone can get a job there, so there should be no problem. As he enters, there is a group of adventurers and he thinks they must just be resting. In the background, she sees the receptionist. She is talking to her cat. She tells her that her senpai always leaves her the most tedious jobs. She's practically being exploited. Kuro calls her and freaks out, hiding at the table, then comes out and welcomes her. He is confused. She tells him it's the first time she's seen him and asks if he's a newcomer. He replies very formally that he wants to register for the first time in the guild, so yes he is. She is surprised at how polite he is, but tells him he can talk to her as if she is his friend. She introduces herself. Her name is Nyariko, and she is the receptionist of that guild, which is the most famous guild in Ears. Kuro also introduces himself, saying that it is a pleasure to meet Miss Nyariko. She gets angry because he called her Nyariko without further ado. Even though a moment ago he told her to treat her as a friend, but he lets the offense pass and asks her if she wants to know more about how everything works. As the name implies, they are an organization of adventurers. Exterminate monsters, obtain rare materials, explore. Dungeons and stuff like that is what they do there. 2009, as an adventurer, receives rewards for completing quests. To sign up, he must sign that contract. He starts to sign it, but before he finishes, he asks her what he should put in the class box. She tells him that it is the representation of the fighting style as a swordsman or mage, is the most important field when signing a contract. Although they don't really have a class system as such, people just write what they like and that's it. Kuro, already without any hesitation, writes his class and hands her the paper. She checks it and sees that he put Black Mage. She tells him that it sure is a rare class. Kuro seems more and more mysterious to her, but they do not investigate the work experience of adventurers, so no problem. She will soon make him the guild card. After a while, she finishes it and welcomes him, wishes him well, and asks him if he wants to go on a mission right now. He says no, as he is busy. He calls Lily to leave, but when he sees her, she is fast asleep. Already almost at night, Lily wakes up while Kuro is carrying her on his back. 2009. He notices and tells her that she was sound asleep, had no choice but to carry her on his back. She asks him if he went somewhere or did anything while she slept. He replies yes, researched in his inventory about the cursed sword and why the curse. A long time ago, a beautiful girl lived in a small town. She was the mayor's daughter and loved people very much. She was not only beautiful but also intelligent and skilled with the sword. One day, a young adventurer magician arrived to exterminate a group of monsters used and that were in a mountain near the village. Accompanied by soldiers went to kill them, but the monsters attacked them by surprise and returned defeated. The wizard, who barely came back alive, was treated by the girl. However, soon after returned to the mountain, but came back defeated again. The cycle continued the same for a while, until the girl asked him to take her. He refused, but she insisted, saying that she will do it for the village and that she is the strongest swordswoman there. 2009 also has a great sword, thanks to her passion. He let her go, and with their combined forces, they managed to defeat them. The magician was happy to have succeeded, and the girl was happy to see him happy. But the villagers said it was too late and spoke ill of him. Even the mayor expelled him for endangering his daughter. She remained cold, saying that there was no sense in that at all, so he will not forgive them. No way will he forgive the monsters he has around him. The first one she killed was her father. The sword that had been strengthened by the mage killed all the villagers. The young mage was overwhelmed and wondered how that could have happened. She, completely beside herself, told him that she did it because she loves him. Thus the cursed sword was born, with the emotions of love and hate. The official title of the sword is Cursed Sword Slayer. Lily asks him if he really evaluated it in the inventory. He replies that he did, and that he came to know a lot of things thanks to the magic, evaluation magic. He starts to tell her the characteristics of the wizard's wand and the knife he got in the chest, but Lily, out of curiosity, grabs the sword and gets dizzy. Kuro tells her worriedly not to do something so dangerous again. At that, she asks him what happened after that. He realizes she is talking about history and tells her that he assumes they lived happily ever after, as he doesn't quite know what to answer. Lily remains pensive, and Kuro continues to talk about the characteristics of their weapons, but she is in her world Y and pays no attention to him. On the other hand, in a holy city called Elysian, Serial appears entering a church. A man calls her and tells her that he really chose what to do on his own. He turns out to be the old leader of the hooded ones we saw a while back. He tells her that he heard that Cardinal Ars recommended her to stop the number 49, that is Kuro, but that Ars tends to overestimate the power of his disciples. The power of his disciples. He did not allow the full release of his power, even when Kuro had already escaped. She replies that she is only following orders, but he tells her that really the main cause of everything is that she intentionally let him go. Not blame her, but he is surprised that her emotions influence her actions. She had long ago forgotten that she was human. He's going to go along with the plan anyway. He tells her that living there is sure to be boring. He uses a magical technique on her to materialize things, and a crown like the one Kuro had appears. To control it, she uses magic again and makes it disintegrate. Tells him that now she can do whatever she wants. There is no one to stop her, and if she wants to kill him there, let her do it, no problem. She tells him he is a joker and calls him Judas. He mentions that those who break free from mind control usually attack the controller without hesitation. She is the second person to achieve perfect liberation. She can go on an expedition if she wants, or send it all to hell, as she wishes. Sariel answers that she will follow the oracle. She is sure that she will succeed in the invasion to the continent of Pandora, which is where Kuro is. After a while of pondering, she thinks about Kuro, interested in his potential, but he is well at ease with Lily. Several days later, Kuro decides to go on a mission to the Adventurers Guild, and they encounter a giant mammoth. The group he went with is in front of the mammoth. The cat says that this monster is called a giant Dortus. Then, with a lot of confidence, they start fighting. The cat tells Kuro that he can stay back. Since he is one dead, he says it's okay, although he wonders if only the four of them will be able to fight that huge monster. But well, it's not his problem anyway. 2 days ago, after 2 weeks of living with Lily, when he had already got used to the guild, the cat came up to him and stared at him while he was eating a bad look. Kuro asks him if he needs anything, tells him he's getting too trusting with Nyoreko, he's like WTF, and the cat tells him not to play dumb, has seen him flirt with her every time he comes over. Kuro doesn't remember doing it. It's normal to talk to the receptionist. He has no ulterior motives. The guy yells at him, calling him a liar. He saw him putting his hands on her. Kuro tells him that was because she was going to fall. At that, someone hits him, tells him not to be an idiot and to stop yelling, is the snake girl. With the rest of the group, apologizes for the inconvenience and introduces herself. Her name is A10. She is from a race called Lamia and hopes they get along well. The lizard man is named Claydor, the little guy is named Harry, and the cat is Nino. Together they lead the guild called. Kuro asks them how he can help them. He heard they were talking about him. They want him to carry their supplies on missions or something like that. She tells him that it's exactly as he says. Right now their group is rank 2, but in the next mission they can go up to rank 3. The item they want to get is the steak that is eating the meat of the Dortus monster. It usually sells for a good price, even its fangs. Skin and fur sell for a good price. The bad thing is that the prey is huge and hard to carry, so she asks him if he knows dimensional magic. He replies yes. She tells him that a man mentioned that Kuro keeps and draws weapons from the shadows. He may not be able to fight, but they will pay him well if he goes with them. Kuro says count him in. He's been trying all these days to interact with adventurers. She super happy says that now she can't turn him down. She has accepted the contract. Harry asks her where Lily is since she is always with him. She is doing what they call the fairy's miracle medicine. Nino tells him that if he will be fine without having his fairy by his side, just the same he will show him that he is light years away from being able to flirt with Nureko. Kuro looks at Atten confused, but she's used to it, so he asks her if she likes Nureko. He nervously tells her how he knew, even though it's obvious. Back to the present, they are still fighting the mammoth. No matter how much they attack, its legs don't fall or weaken. Harry throws arrows at it, but they don't do much damage. The same happens with Clydor's attack. The mammoth throws them backwards. Aten casts a magic spell that generates a projectile, thinking that it will destroy it, but it does not do anything either. Being unprotected from her group, the mammoth attacks her and everyone gets worried, but she hears Kuro's voice telling her to duck. He generates a super powerful projectile that pierces his head. Everyone is shocked and not knowing what to say. Kuro humbly apologizes as he didn't want to rob them of the final blow. Aten jumps on him, thanking him, Yusan, but what he does is hang him. Already at night, he is happy for having finished the mission, and because he is finally going to be with Lily, he has been away from home for 5 days. Even so, it took him a while to leave because Aten didn't want to let him go for some reason. We do know. He says he feels very lonely without Lily. He arrives at the house, and as he enters, she throws herself on him, welcoming him. Although she is a little different now. Kuro doesn't know how to react. Looks like Lily to him, but he's not entirely sure. So he asks her, and she says, who else is it going to be? Y stares at her breasts and asks her if she's serious. She's changed a bit. She gets mad and tells him that, despite living with her for a while, doesn't recognize her. The reason she has changed is because of the full moon. The fairies have a legend that the queen travels this world during full moon nights, but it may not be a legend, since when the moon is like that, the fairy's strength is multiplied. That is why she returns to her true form during that period. Yusan. He asks her if then her girl form is temporary. She replies that it is so. When she is separated from the light source, her form becomes a childish one. It happens the same with her power and her mental state. Kuro thinks that even as a child, she is too strong and intelligent. As an adult, she must be terrifying. She tells him that in the same way she remembers everything that happened, even if it was only a month. He is very precious to her. When she met him, she realized that he was very hurt. So she wants to know where he comes from and what he had to go through. She just wants to get to know him better. The two of them lie down, and he starts telling her he got there escaping from the Ark continent and somehow made it to that forest. He looks at her and asks her if she would believe him that he came from another world. She mentions that fairies can read people's hearts, so he knows she is telling the truth. She caresses him, asks him if he wants to go back to his world. If possible, he would, even though he already decided to continue living there. She hugs him and tells him that everything will be all right. Yuzen will always have her by his side. It is sad that he can't return, but as long as they stay together, they will always be together. But as long as they stay together, he will not be alone. He is touched and thanks her. Although he cannot read her heart, he feels that she is sincere. As long as he is with her, he does not mind going back to his world. But after a moment of being embraced, he jumps away. He asks her when she plans to get dressed. Can't get close being like this. Felt everything so natural that she had forgotten she was naked. She tells him she is not naked. Fairies cover themselves using something called a fairy barrier. That's why they don't wear clothes. He thinks it's a big culture shock anyway. He gives her his cloak to cover herself. She smells the clothes and tells him not to be embarrassed about it. He replies, please don't bother him. It's hard for him to resist such a beautiful woman. Lily blushes a lot and hides with the cloak. She thanks him, saying that she will always be with him. Kuro mentions that he is the one who should be thankful, since thanks to her he can live there. She's super happy, tells him that then she will also wear clothes, but she will wear only the fashionable ones. Some days later, Sariel together with her army arrive to the continent and carry out their attack. Let's remember that she told Judas that she was going to fulfill that mission. Lily explains to Kuro that the capital is called Daedalus. Currently, the Crusader army, that is, Sariel's army, is in the city of Virginia. The town of Ears, which is where they are, is not that far from there. The king of Daedalus is called Garwinare. He is a black dragon and is someone too powerful. He has always wanted to unify the continent, but he has never been able to, always loses against his neighboring country, Sparta. Kuro is disappointed because there is infighting even on the continents itself, and that is because the continent of Pandora is a land with many different species other than humans. Also, there is a legend of a man named Mao, who united the entire continent into one empire. However, it is now divided into two countries, which are Daedalus and Sparta, which no one has been able to unite. Kuro asks her if then the Daedalus army is weak. She replies that not at all. The last time they faced the Crusader army, they easily defeated them. That means that Cerial and his army will not be able to conquer the capital easily. They might even defeat them. Between Virginia and Daedalus is the hill of Gordaland, where the battle will take place. The two armies are ready. Cerial leading the Crusaders and King Garwanari leading his, being close enough to the two. The king tells them that they, who call themselves servants of God, do not expect that they can set foot on those lands without any consequences. He charges a powerful attack and hurls it at the army. Cerial quickly uses a shield that blocks it completely, causing the armies to start fighting. The dragon doesn't let her think and attacks her. She dodges it, but it quickly attacks her again with its claws. She uses a technique called Sonic Walk, narrowly dodging it. She summons a magic circle that propels her at tremendous speed use and pierces a wing. She tries again, but he's already expecting it. He gives her a full-on powerful pigtail and thinks he's won with that, saying that the skies belong to the dragons. Humans must crawl on the ground, but suddenly he sees her coming back in one piece. He laughs because there is someone who is capable of giving him a fight, so he asks her what her name is. She readies her weapon and tells him she is the seventh apostle Cerial. The army from below sees a glowing light in the sky. Cerial is attacking him with all his might, making multiple holes in his wings, tries to pierce his head, but his skin is extremely tough. The dragon uses a lot of magic and pushes her back. He prepares the same attack as always, but more enhanced. Cerial prepares and he tells her to go all out. That will be her last attack. They both do it at the same time, but Cerial begins to go through the lightning. Thanks to that, he manages to get too close, and using all the magic he has left, he gives him the last blow. From below, a great flash of light is seen in the sky. From one moment to the next, they see the king falling and crashing to the ground. Cerial is on top with the spear stuck exactly in his brain, pulls it out and holds it aloft, indicating his victory. The Crusader army obviously celebrates, but the others can't believe it. Amidst the commotion, begin to defeat them. Cerial sees what she has managed to do and says that she is certainly not human. 10 days after that, Cerial, together with his army, manages to completely conquer the capital of Daedalus. Using back with Lily, she is trying on a new dress. Nyareko is mesmerized by how cute it is and says it's the first time she sees an ancient velvet fabric. It's light and gives several stats to those who wear it. It provides defense and other things like cold and heat resistance. It is a rare item that is even able to adjust to the size of the wearer. Although he tells Kuro that he sure spent all his money, that dress must be excessively expensive. He replies that more or less. At the store where he bought it, the salesman praises him, saying that he didn't expect a newcomer to defeat a tortoise with one blow, but it's normal for someone who can wield a cursed weapon. Embarrassed, he replies to him that it's not like he fought the mammoth all by himself. The merchant tells him that even he is humble. He will certainly prepare the most suitable equipment for him. Kuro tells him that it's fine, although it is likewise Lily who will wear it. He looks for the dress and comments to her that it is a first-class item called the ancient velvet dress. Use and she won't find a better dress out there. Kuro tells him that he will take it then, but the merchant mentions that actually, if he has the perfect item for him, it is called the Velisco bone needle. Although it is cursed, there is no doubt that it can be a lethal weapon. He starts sweating and begs her to buy it. If she does, it will give him a good discount on the dress, but even with that discount, spend almost everything he had saved working as an adventurer, it's the least he can do for an item of that quality. Nyareko asks him what his plans are for the summer that is about to arrive. He asks her what she means. She tells him that there is a large-scale cleanup of the city to celebrate the summer. Lily attends every year. She helps those who get hurt and drunks. Kuro tells her that Lily is too mature for her age. Nyareko asks him what he means, is normal, since Lily is a full-grown adult. He thinks she is joking, but after a moment of silence, he realizes she means it and asks her what she means. She, confused, tells him that Lily will be 32 that year. She is much older than them. Kuro can't believe it. It's Lily. To think that she is a middle-aged woman is a bit confusing. Nyareko asks her if she comes from a place where there are no fairies, so she doesn't know what they look like. Fairies don't change their appearance from birth, although Lily's birth was a bit peculiar. Heard that fairies don't put much stock in age. Kuro thinks it all makes sense now. That's why everyone spoke to her with so much respect in the village. She tells him to get back to the subject of the festival and asks him if he's going with Lily. He tells her probably not, as she's sure to be busy. In that case, she asks him if he wants to go with her. He says yes, and she gets excited saying he can earn some points if he treats her right. He is left smiling and wonders if he should make something like candy to share. The next day, Nino is mad as hell at Kuro. He tells him that how is it possible that he has a date with Nyoreko? Kuro apologizes saying that he answered without thinking, but not to worry. He has a plan. The three of them will meet and then he will leave, so the two of them will be left alone. As long as he treats her well, he can easily win her over. He believes her completely and rushes off to get as much money as possible before the festival starts. Kuro is relieved at how naive Nino is, but now to the important thing, needs to do some missions to earn money as well. Aiden comes up behind her and gives her a scare. She reads the paper he has, which says something about an investigation of the new area of the Medea City ruins. Kuro tells her not to give him those scares. She mentions that those ruins are too far away, he should just give up already. She gets very close to him and says that she surely plans to find a special item or artifact. He replies something like that, to which she tells him not to answer so vaguely. Must have a compelling reason to do something like that. 2009. He tells her that he is looking for a way to return to his hometown, but first of all, tells him to move away for a bit. She asks him if he then wants to go back to his home country, but he doesn't mean it. He really likes his lifestyle there. The problem is that he left his parents and friends, so they are probably worried about him. That's why he wants to find a way to go back to them. She out of the blue tells him that she wants to talk to him privately. When they are alone, he tells her that he will leave the village. Everyone in the group became rank 3Y, so they talked about becoming independent and moving on to the next stage. Apparently, the reason the others chose to be adventurers was to protect the village. She was the only one who did it to go to the capital. Very embarrassed, she tells him that she would feel very uncomfortable if she goes alone, so he asks if he can accompany her to Daedalus. He stares at her and tells her that he thought she would laugh at her, but he would have no reason to laugh. He wouldn't make fun of a person's anxiety. Besides, it would be fun to venture into something like that. She becomes sensitive and starts to cry. Kuro, startled, asks her if she said something wrong. She tells him no. She is just very happy. She was scared and worried, thinking she would go alone. Now that he told her that, she is relieved. So she runs off to do some shopping. He keeps thinking that all that conversation would have gone better if he had something nice to say at times like that. Suddenly, he sees Lily next door, quiet and looking rather worried, scary even. Nervous, he asks her if she ate the sweets he made yesterday. She says yes with a smile. No doubt no part of her appears from 32 years. Together they go for a walk, and Kuro wonders if he should go to the aforementioned Medea ruins, since the capital is so close by. Lily asks him if he will make candy again. He replies that of course, but he will need her again to do her cooling magic. Besides, it's not that hard to find fruits and sugar around that area, so he could try to make some other kind of candy. Out of nowhere, they find a girl sitting under a tree. Kuro asks who that is, but Lily doesn't know. She has triangular hat, black clothes, one long cane. There is no doubt that she is a witch. She looks just like any character in a book. She thinks maybe she's dead, so she doesn't know what to do in that situation. The girl over there says the girl. Suddenly, Kuro freaks out because it was so sudden. He tells Lily that what she is holding looks delicious. She offers him some. He accepts at once and starts to eat it desperately, leaving nothing behind. Lily gets anxious and the girl apologizes. It's just that it was so tasty and she was so hungry. While Lily complains about her candy, Kuro asks her if she had fainted from hunger. She tells him something like that. To stop Lily from crying, he gives her the last remaining candy. The girl asks him if he was the one who made that candy. He replies yes, they are called ice cream candy, but he should get something more substantial than candy to eat. While he asks her if he even has any money, she reaches into his hat saying he has gold coins. He pulls one out and shows it to her. He asks her if that coin is from the capital. She replies yes and asks if she can use that to buy food there. Kuro tells her that gold is gold. We'll certainly be able to buy enough food with that. She gets excited. She will buy him as much candy as possible. He gets angry because she doesn't seem to pay attention to him. Just mentioned that they were all out. The girl out of nowhere changes the subject and says that now that she thinks about it, she doesn't even know their names. Kuro is super frustrated. He can't communicate with her at all well. She likewise introduces herself by saying she's an adventurer from that village she stole the ice cream from. Her name is Lily. The girl thanks Lily again for the ice cream and gives Kuro a piece of paper. He asks her what that is. She says it's the card of the guild she was in. She was an adventurer before she came to Ears. He reads the card and sees that she uses a nickname, which is Fiona, instead of her name. That means she probably comes from some 2000 family. Now that he gets a good look at her, her clothes are of a very high quality, she has bad manners, and her facial features are well placed, although her attitude does not look adventurous. She gets uncomfortable and tells him to please don't look at her so much. It's not like she's wearing anything delicious, and if she was, she wouldn't give it to him. He tells her that she is a glutton for 3 pairs of noses. He asks her then where she plans to go if she goes on a long trip. He suggests she register with some guild. That's the plan she has. She wants to go to the city of Esparta, which isn't that far away, to work as an adventurer there. 2009 Kuro points the way to Ears just in case and asks her if she will be okay going alone. She tells him that it shouldn't be a problem since it's close by. He tells her that it's fine but not to collapse again. She replies that she will do her best to make sure her belly is always full. As they leave, she says that she will certainly repay the kindness of that ice candy boy. Later, at the guild, Kuro signs the research mission for Medea's ruins and plans to leave for a trip that same day. Nyariko tells him to please come back before the festival. He replies that he will do his best. On his way out, he sees the usual group. Nino asks him if he will also go on a mission. Kuro tells him yes, while greeting everyone. Ten also asks him if he will go to the ruins of Medea in the end. He nods, saying that he has a feeling he will find something good. She, blushing, tells him that she will wait for him then. Nino, hearing her, feels a strange intuition and takes him away so that no one will hear them. She asks him if he and Aten are planning to go on a trip together. He answers yes. They talked about how they should go out one of these days and venture out. He rests his hand on her shoulder and moved, tells her to take good care of his attention. Kuro tells him that it's okay, although he doesn't know why, but he wants to hit him right now. Nino tells him that he is surprised because even someone like her can make someone else fall in love. They finish talking, so Kuro leaves at once. Everyone says goodbye to him, and Aten tells him again that he will be waiting for him. He says goodbye too, and with conviction says that his next stop is Daedalus, but he has no idea that Serial has already conquered all the territory. Halfway through the journey, they meet a guard who tells them that the road is closed. Kuro asks him if they will then not be able to travel to Daedalus. He says that he is simply following those orders from a month ago. The capital is closed, but he doesn't know the details. They may find information at the village guild, so they go to the place. There they meet a lady who tells them that there was a battle in Gordoland between the Crusader army and that of Daedalus, but will not tell more details. Kuro leaves and is shocked because he has not heard of any such thing in the other villages, and Lily can read hearts, so the lady did not lie. No doubt the two armies fought. The problem is the fact that the information has been hidden for over a month, which would be impossible. If the Daedalus army had won, the whole continent would know about the victory if it had. Lily asks him what they will do now. Maybe they should not go to the capital Yusan anymore. Kuro tells her that they will check the information for now. Take a detour and go see what happens. At once. They go, and Kuro says it is really huge. They hide a little away to analyze the situation. Kuro comments that it is very quiet all around, even though it is at night. In such a big city, it shouldn't be so quiet. There aren't even guards watching. They closed everything so that no one can enter, so they have no choice but to climb the wall. He uses his power and throws a hook made of magic. They make it up, and Kuro says that apparently there are no soldiers watching either. On the wall is barely visible, but there are lights on in the middle of the city, so apparently it's not completely empty. Lily, all cheery, is excited to see the large castle looming in the distance. He notices something on top of the castle and focuses his gaze. It is a Crusader army flag. He is filled with helplessness and hits the ground, scaring Lily. Did they really manage to conquer the country? He begins to ramble on about the matter in despair. Should he escape to another country? I really shouldn't. Sooner or later they'll come to the village. Are they going to kill them all? Maybe I should fight. Although even the Dragon King lost, it's not something he can solve on his own, so he has no choice but to escape. But where to? Is there even a place to escape to? No matter where he goes, he will be captured again. There's no way he's willing to put up with all that again. Lily worries to see him like this and hugs him. She tells him that everything will be okay and that she will protect him, even if the bad guys come after him. He manages to calm down a bit, thanks her and apologizes for showing her such an unpleasant scene. It's true, he's not alone anymore. He has to protect Lily and those in the village. He tells Lily that it is dangerous to be there, so they should go back for now and warn everyone. What are you doing here? That question is asked by someone in a familiar voice that sends a shiver through her body. When he turns around, he sees that it is really her. Totally confused, he wonders what she is doing there. Lily, seeing his reaction, asks him what is going on. Sariel, undecided and not knowing what to do, tells him that Daedalus is now under control of the Crusader army. Currently, the entrance is forbidden to the city, so they should leave. The atmosphere becomes very tense and Kuro tells her then she is letting him go. She replies that right now her duty is not to capture him. Kuro keeps thinking and tells her if he can ask her a question. She says yes, and he asks why they, meaning the Crusader army, went to Pandora 2001's continent. Sariel answers that it is because their god desired that land. Kuro makes her a little interrogation, asks her if the objective they have is to evangelize. She answers that yes, sooner or later all the people of the continent will be of the religion of the cross. He tells her that this will bring a great consequence. She answers that she already knows it. There have been and there will be many rivers of blood to achieve it, but the first step has already been taken. She defeated the king, and now she is in charge of all that territory. At the moment, she is the supreme commander of the Crusader army. Supreme commander of the Crusader army, Yusan. Kuro, afraid but determined, tells her that he understands now and calls her Miss Supreme Commander. He walks to Lily and hugs her. She asks him why he is doing that. He thanks her for everything and lifts her up. Desperate, he tells her to please wait, but throws her away with all his might. Sariel asks what he is doing. He, without thinking, uses his magic and creates many bullets, throws them all at once, which causes a big explosion. She dodges it and he jumps towards her to take advantage of the situation. Remember that killing someone when their guard is down is the most efficient, and right now, without a doubt, she has her guard down. She also dodged his attack. If it was like that time, she would have stopped the attack easily, but now she is not defending herself, probably because she is wounded from her battle against the king. If he manages to kill her, his army will panic. It's the only chance he has to protect everyone. He pulls out his swords from his inventory and throws them at her. As soon as he lands on the ground, he receives an attack that almost makes Doña Sariel ask him to stop and back off obediently. He replies that who would pass up such a perfect opportunity like that? He yells at her that he will kill her to stop the Crusader army, even if it costs him his life. She becomes serious, and Kuro follows up by attacking her with a hail of projectiles. She defends herself with a shield, but a projectile manages to go through it. He takes advantage of that and uses all his power to throw the swords at her at maximum speed, but she dodges it. He tries not to let her think, making the swords follow her. She uses dark magic and creates the same projectile that Kuro uses, so he is surprised a lot. She throws it at him with a lot of power, and he tries to block it as best he can. As he does so, she attacks him with her light sword. He manages to parry her with his sword and tells her that she is surprised at how tough it is. He comments to her that this sword is cursed, so she won't be able to destroy it with her magic. She tells him that now he understands, so he proposes that if he manages to break that sword, he will have to leave that place. And he replies that he will have to break it first to prove it. He shoots backwards and thinks that if she gets serious, even being hurt won't stand a chance against her, so his next move will be his last chance. The two attack at the same time. Kuro throws his swords again, but she breaks them, but something occurs to him and he goes running straight at her. He attacks her with his sword and she stops him with hers. When they are face to face, she tells him that he won't be able to kill her. He replies that that will be decided soon. He takes out the needle the merchant sold him from his inventory and throws it at her. She remembers that the guy told her that this needle contains a deadly poison. If it reaches the heart of her opponent, no matter how monstrous or powerful he is, he will definitely die. To her surprise, he slows her down with his hand and swings a sword at her. She asks him if that was his trump card. He uses his sword and thrusts his hand through to stop the poison. Kuro is too scared and tries to continue attacking, but with her injured hand, she blocks it, fading his attack and any hope he had left. Yusen apologizes to everyone and she knocks him out. He tells her that he really found something to protect, something so important that he is able to even risk his life. Although, as he expected, his power diminished because he restored his body after the battle, and now he has to restore his left hand as well. Suddenly, he hears something in the distance, trees drying up, one sound of something flowing. He realizes that maybe it is a life-draining power, but finally the cause of it all appears. Sariel thinks that no doubt she is the one who stole the life force from the forest using life drainage. She wonders how she could possibly use that forbidden art. Lily, in a slightly murky voice, tells her to get away from Kuro right now. Hearing what she says, Sariel thinks it's the same girl Kuro threw, tells her to please stop and asks her who she is. Why Lily, very angry, yells at him to get the hell out of that place right now and attacks her with magic missiles. Sariel deflects them, and they explode against the city wall. Why Lily runs to Kuro, holds him up, checking that he is alive, and is relieved to see that he is only unconscious. Sariel tells her that, as she expected, she is the same girl as before. Lily, super hostile, tells him not to act familiar or call him as if he was her friend. She picks him up, and Sariel proposes that if she takes him away, she won't chase them. Lily replies, okay, but please die. Throws many magic missiles at him again, but this time they are follow-up projectiles. Sariel notices and splits them in half, causing them to explode. Yusan sees a flash of light to his side. When he notices it is a huge magic circle that he cannot dodge. After a while, Kuro unconscious, he hears Lily's voice in the background. Says he must protect her. He opens his eyes and sees her. One palm away from his face, he says good morning. Lily says good morning to him too, although it is already night. Tells him that he managed to arrive in time, took him deep into the forest, and also retrieved his weapon. Kuro, disappointed, tells her that he wanted to save her, but the one who ended up being saved was him. Lily tells him not to be so reckless next time. She is his friend after all. He accepts his mistake, though he notices her voice is different and asks her why. She, with a scary expression, says that when she was saving him from Serial, she had to return to her original form. Right now, her consciousness has not returned to normal. Kuro is scared to see the face that Lily has. He keeps saying that with the power that girl has, it must be true that she defeated the Dragon King, so he asks her to please not fight with that monster anymore. Yusen doesn't want to be involved with her again. Kuro replies that he knows that anyway. He won't get a chance as good as that again, but Lily doesn't mean it. She had to return to her original form using a forbidden magic. She only uses it for some emergency, and she only used it because her childish and unintelligent side decided to. She was lucky she managed to save him, but one mistake and he would have been captured by them again, so she asks him to please promise her that he will never risk his life like that again. She throws herself on him and starts to cry, her voice trembling. She tells him that she was really worried about him. He hugs her tightly, apologizes to her, and promises her that he will never do something like that again, but right now, they must go back to the village to warn everyone as soon as possible. Lily formed a huge crater with the magic circle she used, although Serial was able to defend herself with a powerful shield. The army arrives on the scene and the one leading them asks why the wall is collapsed. Why and what was that rumbling they heard? He sees Serial and respectfully asks her if she is okay. She says it is nothing important. They simply had an intruder. He gets upset and says that they must capture him at once, but Serial comments that he already took care of it. Now what is important is to strengthen the guard at the city gate. He asks him how the capture unit is doing. He replies that they just reported that they already have control of the nearby villages. Serial thinks about the fact that Kuro appears 2009 means that he is staying in a village not far from there, so it is very possible that he will meet the army. But as long as that girl, or is it Lily, protects him, sure he will be fine. She tells the guy to order the army and keep moving, while she will tend to his wounds. After that, as several days go by, the army finally arrives at Ear's village. They are already invading and burning everything. Nino shouts to everyone to escape quickly. Those who cannot move should take refuge in the guild. Behind him, 2 soldiers arrive. He angrily asks them how they entered the continent and calls them damn invaders. Do they think they can suddenly attack the village as they please? One of them attacks him. Nino deflects him and gives him a sword. The other one lunges while Nino recovers, but a spear pierces his neck. That spear is Klydor's, who asks him if he is all right. Nino tells him why the watchmen let them in. Klydor replies that they are doing what they can, but the enemy has many people on their side and they even killed his father. Nino laments that they are being invaded. Just when Kuro and Lily are gone, he asks Klydor, where are Ten and Harry? He tells him that they are protecting the guild and the villagers who are refugees. They hear a big explosion and realize it came from the guild, so Nino goes running without thinking. Harry is badly wounded and tells Ten to please hold on. Very innocent, he asks the soldiers why they are attacking. The one leading that group arrives saying that it is a very grave sin. That they are inferior species. They don't even understand the absolute truth of the white god. That's how they call their god. They that are demonic beings, they shouldn't even exist. A10 gets angry and asks him what the hell is wrong with him. He tells him to stop barking with the filthy mouth he has. Just listening to simple beast talking makes him want to vomit. Beast talking makes her want to vomit. They surround her, but just as they are about to attack her, Nino arrives to help and asks if everyone is okay. She tells him that Harry is badly wounded and there are also many wounded inside the guild. He kills another one and realizes that they are the only ones who can still fight. The guy gets really mad and with a disgusting and nasty face, yells at them, giving the order to surround them to kill them immediately. Klydor nervously says that there are too many of them. They alone won't be able to defeat them all. Frustrated, Nino throws down the sword and tells them they have no choice but to surrender. Otherwise, all will be annihilated. He tells the guy that they surrender. They have no intention of resisting anymore. Plus, they have innocent civilian refugees, so please stop your attacks. But right after that, Nino goes running towards her scared. The nasty guy says that the only ones who deserve redemption are humans. Demonic beings should just be destroyed. Nyoreko tries to say something, but no words come out. Nino tells her to resist, though she obviously does not. She turns away crying and insulting them, saying she will never forgive them, but a magic ball hits her directly. The archers start shooting arrows. Clater protects a 10 by tanking them, but they stick very deep. She, seeing Harry already dead and Nino totally destroyed, begins to tremble in despair. Being distracted, 2 large spears pierce her completely. She asks Kuro to please save her and the thing falls to the ground. The guy says it's disgusting. That's what they get for ignoring the white god. He wonders if the demonic beings pray to the evil god or the demon king. Yusin raises his staff and says that now is the time for holy war. They will demonstrate their faith by destroying the demonic races, and everyone starts laughing and celebrating. We return to Kuro, who is running as fast as he can carrying Lily. She asks him if he's okay, as he's been running non-stop for days. He says no problem, he has to get there on time no matter what. Every second counts. The next day he arrives and is surprised to learn that the village has already been attacked. He meets the merchant and he tells him that the attack was very sudden. The watchmen and some adventurers fought, but they did not manage to stop the attack. And some adventurers fought, but they did not manage to stop them. Kuro asks him if those who are there are the only ones who escaped. He replies that unfortunately yes, the army is huge, so he is not able to tell if those who stayed in the village are still alive. Kuro gets worried and runs off again with Lily loaded. He says that the army arrived earlier than he expected. Sure, the invasion unit left while fighting with Sariel. He arrives at the village and from afar sees that everything is burning. Out of nowhere, they hear a big explosion in the forest and Lily flies over to see what's going on. She tells Kuro that something bad is happening. The light spirit is burning. He doesn't know what she means, but Lily mentions that he must go to the fairy spring. Kuro asks her if she plans to go on her own. She replies not to worry and trust her. He can go by going to the village. He tells her that he understands, and to meet later at the village from before, sows Eos before leaving. She asks him please, not to do anything irrational again. He tells her to, and they part ways. Kuro jumps over the wall and is disgusted by the stench of the bodies. He wonders if that is really Ear's village, as it is very different. In the background, he sees the soldiers and is frightened, tells himself to calm down and get information first, to search for those left alive. There is not a single villager. There are not even any lifeless bodies. Maybe they were captured somewhere. Yusin in the background sees several crosses nailed to the ground. He gets angry, saying how dare they place them in the central square. No doubt they are disgustingly disgusting. As he gets close enough, he gets a good look at what it is and freezes. He refuses to believe his eyes and thinks he is in a nightmare. He turns his head to the side and sees half of a Ten's body and begins to vomit profusely. Some soldiers who were around ask him who he is and what he is doing there. Maybe he is a demonic being who survived. Kuro, with his voice a bit cloudy, tells them that to all of them, will kill them one by one. He starts screaming and repeating over and over again that he will kill them. He is filled with so much rage that he actually turns into a demonic being. Back with Lily, he is speeding to the spring to protect it. Would it be a problem if they steal the queen's treasure? Something very bad would happen if all the fairies living in the spring stopped receiving that source of energy. She uses the life drain again and returns to her adult form, so her mind does too. So she wonders what the problem would be if something were to happen to them. Should she really protect the place from those who didn't accept her? She starts to laugh to herself and say that it is funny. There is no reason for her to protect such a place. What matters is not the spring. At that moment, the fairies arrive, asking what she has been doing all that time, calling her a damn fake fairy. A large group of people dressed in white are approaching, so she orders her to take care of them. She, with a haughty face, tells him she doesn't want to. Why should she have to protect them? They were the ones who threw her out because she was defective. The angry fairy tells her that it is true that she is half human and half beast, but even if she is only half fairy, her duty is to protect the sanctuary and join the battle. Lily replies that there is no point in just fighting. Even if they defeat them, they will come back and attack the light spirit again and again. Yusin. The fairy says that even then they can't just sit around and do nothing. Lily agrees. That's why she decided to take the queen's veril. The fairy is puzzled by what she just heard and asks her what she just said. Lily explains that the goal of the Crusader army is the hidden treasure, the queen's treasure. Instead of waiting for them to eventually take it away, it would be better for her to put it to good use. She gets angry and tries to attack her while asking if she has lost her mind. Won't she forgive a traitor who wants to steal the queen's divine protection? Lily simply grabs her and squeezes her. He asks her what she will do to avoid him, Miss Ada, with a body and magic much weaker than his. She, squirming, asks him what his purpose is for her to steal the queen's veril, just as she will not be able to get the divine blessing. Lily replies that by getting it, she will be able to return to her adult form every day, even if she is not at the shrine, even if only for a short time. She could talk to Kuro in that period and be able to converse daily with the man she loves. Just imagining it seems incredible to her. She is frightened and tells him that she has lost her mind. Lily replies that if she were in love, she would understand. She tears off 2 of his wings and screams from the pain, the spear, and tells him that she has finally taken revenge. She did it to Mark. Her resentment for being cast out at birth of 1. She goes to the Veril to grab him, and the army arrives. They see the spring and get excited. One of them says something is coming out of the water. Why Lily appears, and they gawk at how beautiful she is. She asks them if they are from the Crusader army, just needed to try the barrel. They realize she is an enemy and prepare themselves, but apparently they have no escape. We return to the town of Ears, where it is a mess. Someone asks why there is so much commotion. They reply that there is an invader, and they call him a Kilban priest. There is a rampaging black demon in the square. We see that it is the guy from before, and he asks where the defense troops are. The other comments to him that they are fighting back, but they are defeating them all. He thinks he was attracted by the unclean blood, so he tells everyone to follow them to purify the demon who wants revenge on God. They arrive at the place, and he sees many of his men dead. Kuro hears them and turns around, making them scared. Kilban tells them not to fear. They have the blessing of the white god. He approaches and tells him that he must crucify his body, just as he did with his herd. Kuro, upon hearing that, goes totally nuts. The guy starts summoning I don't know who, and Kuro uses his magic. He says his stupid demonic tricks are useless. He will destroy him with his purifying light. He uses a technique called Force Blast, which completely hits Kuro. Everyone thinks he defeated him and flatters him. The proud one says that he has successfully passed another test of God. The one next to him tells him that just as he expected, he defeated him in 1 blow. But before he can finish speaking, he is killed. Kuro comes out through the smoke, and the guy freaks out, saying there's no way he survived that. He can't believe he scattered his holy light with his dark magic. Kuro rushes at him at full speed, attacking him with the sword. Kilban asks his lord for power to purify evil and creates a shield that blocks the attack. Half frightened, he scoffs and tells him that his god's shield is not something that can be broken. Kuro doesn't even listen to him, as he is still in his homicidal and crazy state. The only thing he can think of is to take revenge and kill them. The guy gives the order to take advantage and kill him, but a large dark aura comes out from where Kuro is. Yusen the sword is starting to desire more blood each time, because Kuro is transmitting that desire to him. He realizes this and becomes one with the sword. He tells it that he will let it drink blood if it gives him the power to kill them. The sword turns blacker and expels a dark aura. With that, it manages to crack the shield and pierce it next to Kilban's body. It is so brutal that it splits him in 2, and as he dies, asks his god why he has abandoned him. Everyone gets worried and says they must avenge the priest. Kuro, super demonic, is about to attack them, but something happens to him, and he falls to the ground on his knees. He realizes that the sword is devouring his magic power, and he can't move his body properly. They all point their bows at him, and Kuro apologizes to Lily because he broke his promise not to do anything rash. However, he can't let those people live, even though it costs him. He stands up, and the other frightened people shoot at him as the arrows close in. He says he will annihilate the Crusader army use, and even if he has to, just to avenge them all. Suddenly, a giant wall appears in front that stops the arrows. Kuro wonders where that wall of fire came from. Maybe it's the enemy reinforcements. He hears someone behind him say that was dangerous. Turning around, he sees Fiona, the one who stole Lily's candy some time ago.